morning, folks. All right, we're here with the very last item, right? You know that it's punctuality. It's been coming at you the whole time. I've saved the best for last. No. Every one of these is important. I want you to not take one more seriously than the other. All of these count to the customer. But punctuality, for everybody, particularly in a service business, is an indication of whether or not you can be trusted. It is a small thing. I mean, you showed up, right? But if you're a guy that gets there right on time, it sends a signal to the customer that, boy, this guy's different, because in fact most people are not getting there right on time these days. But you have a little edge over people who don't. But more to the point, you don't get the negative of not having been there. I mean, if you're right on time a lot, you actually get a plus in your column. But if you're pretty late, you don't so much get a negative in your column about the punctuality, because people have low expectations on that. But you get a negative, and the customer can't even verbalize this, but they don't trust you the way you wish they trusted you. Okay, you have also disrespected the customer. It's their time, and you weren't respectful of it. These are negatives against you. Punctuality is not necessarily easy in a service business, but you got to remember, that's your problem, not the customer's problem. They are reasonable in expecting you should be on time, whether they actually expect you to or not. They want you to be, and they'll hold it against you when you're not. All right? So don't be a promise breaker. Don't be a disrespecter. Be a guy, gal. Be a person who shows up on time, and you've got that working for you. Now, there are things you can do to do that. I mean, believe me, I understand in service businesses, schedule is, you don't just say, oh yeah, I know, I'll just start keeping my schedule. Nobody wants to have a lousy schedule, but there are things you can do. You're not bound by where you are. And maybe I'll make a few suggestions that'll help you here. All right, one of the things is just don't get in a pickle to start with. Don't overpromise. If you say you're going to be there at 10 o'clock, now you're supposed to be there at 10 o'clock, right? But if you said, well, I'll be there someplace between 9 and 11. I'm going to shoot for 10, but I might be early, I might be late. Okay, so look for me in those 2 hours. You say that to customers, and, that's very believable. And now you have to really get there in a 2-hour window now, but do windows instead of exact times and not get yourself in trouble in the first place. Okay, I've got some notes over here that I'm looking at. Another thing you do is, when you're running late, just call the customer. Call them up and tell them that you are running late, and call them before the appointment time. I mean, don't call them 10 minutes after 10 if it was a 10 o'clock appointment. Call them well before that. Even if you're still at the house of the other customer, you haven't left yet, call them up. And you remember that business about because? All right, people will pretty much buy anything when it's because, right? But because gives people a reason. So be decent enough to give the customer a reason. You can say, I'm still at the appointment before yours, and we ran into unexpected problems here, and I can't just walk out. I wouldn't do it at your house either, but I've got to stay here and finish this up. I am going to be late. I'm so sorry. That customers understand that, and they'll be pleased to hear that you'd stay at their house if there were a problem. All right. The last thing to do, and this isn't hard, but requires you to actually do it. Track your time. See how on time you are. And that's pretty much as simple as just keeping, little tracking form or note paper or however you do it. But you just keep track of when you were supposed to be places and what time you actually got there, and see how you're doing. And you'll find out that you can find a way to make yourself more on time, just being aware of it. Little things are probably eat you up too. Like well, we can just stop here. Well, you're going to find out, well, we just can't really stop there. And once you get a handle on those things, that alone will make you more punctual, and you'll have the customer's trust. All right, that's the end of the 5 things that customers care about. Now, there's a lot to say coming off of that, so I've got some good stuff for you, but it'll be on a whole new topic starting tomorrow. Okay? Hey friends, I hope this was useful to you. Would you do something for me? Would you please share this with anybody you know that ought to hear it too? And then would you please give me the thumbs up and subscribe, right? That's kind of important on these things. Feel free to leave comments. All right, thanks a lot. And now get out there and do some winning.